What's up, everybody?
What up? What up?
Ak and AJ back again. We keep on changing these locations, bro.
We gotta move around.
Yeah, we gotta move around. Today we in Wilmington. We at the YMCA gym. You know we celebrating Black History Month.
Yeah, February, the month, Black History Month, and so of course we gotta honor and respect and learn about the history, because you can't really separate Black history from American history.
You can't.
No, man.
They go hand in hand, and a lot of people don't know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to shed light. We want to first start off by paying homage and honoring some famous Black leaders in the past.
Yeah, so we both gonna pick someone from what would say Black history that we have been, I guess, impacted or influenced by, or someone that we get inspired by after learning from them. And the person that really inspired me, and because of his courage, is Malcom X. I have been watching a lot of his interviews that he has done.
Yeah.
And the way he speaks, the way he's so sure of himself, and then he's not afraid to speak his mind in front of
Anybody.
in front of anybody. I mean, he all the way to his death. I mean, that's why he had a short life, because he was really pushing the envelope. He knew that what he was doing was dangerous.
Yeah.
His courage, man, just to continue speaking. MLK is similar.
Yes.
But, he was
MLK was more liberal. Malcolm X was more radical.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So every time I watch his interviews, I'm like, whoa, this guy is incredible. And then his story too.
Yeah.
He changed, he was like a thug, selling drugs and all that, pimp. His dad was killed by the KKK, and I think he was living in Idaho. I don't have all the facts about him, but yeah, I was really inspired by his everything he has done, and I definitely this TV show called Godfather of Harlem.
Yeah.
He's someone plays his character, and that there's a lot of facts in that TV show as well about him and how he was working with the Godfather of Harlem. To even though he wasn't selling the drugs, he was still teamed up to kind of help the Black community in Harlem.
That's dope. So what would you say is one of his traits, or something that he particularly did, whether it was with the Nation of Islam or whether it was specifically within the Civil Rights Movement, that kind of impacts you? What do you do in your day-to-day that you say, wow, when I do this, I do this because I was inspired by Malcolm X. He gave me this courage to do this. What's one thing?
I think his awareness of the political, how the political game is.
Yeah.
He talked about the white liberals, how there's one of they're the ones that really are not really act like they're really helping us, helping the movement, but they really want the status quo to remain.
Yeah.
And we still have that issue. You got a lot of Democrats that are white liberals, and they have the Black Lives Matter sign in front of their in front of their property. They have on their social media, they have the BLM sign and all that. But what do they really want things to change?
Right.
Because they're really benefiting from it.
Yeah, what are they doing in the community? Because they think if they can put a sign or something just in front of that doorstep, then people think, oh, they're not racist, or oh, they're for the movement, or they're for Black people. But sometimes people are doing that for show. So
it made me realize that it's a lot of the even though we feel like there's the white supremacists, they're all they're full blown showing you that they're segregationists, they're racist, but then there's a other group that they're Black Lives Matter, but they don't really want things to change. Because, they're having six figure salary, most likely they got their own property. Why would they want radical change? So are they really contributing to to make sure that the civil rights for Black community, we still have police brutality, all these issues, systemic racism.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe it's not as prevalent as it used to be.
Right.
But I mean, they're still there. So that's my person, Malcolm X.
Okay. So for mine, I would have to say Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
I had to say Muhammad Ali was very influential. You know, he was he's an all-time boxer. Some say he's the best of all time. He was the first to, you know, compete and win 3 heavyweight championships. He's a philanthropist, did a lot with human rights and just humanitarian activities and just his philosophies. He would always, you know, he stood for a thing. He stood against the norm, especially in boxing, especially during that time. You know, black people felt like they didn't have their independence, and every time they tried to speak out, their voice was always hushed, or their voice was always minimized and diminished and belittled. And he was one of the first that was able to have a voice that people would listen to, because he was such a phenomenal athlete, and he really inspired those of the likes of the Mike Tysons, you know, and then even to today, those are the Floyd Mayweathers. And one thing that I'd say that really kind of influences me and impacts me today in my day-to-day about Muhammad Ali was when he was drafted by the U.S. Military to serve. He refused. He refused for, you know, religious purposes, and that was a huge scandal and whatnot, you know, because of his religious views. And I'm Muslim. Octavio is also Muslim, and Muhammad Ali is Muslim, obviously, as well. So, you know, just him doing that was able to bring more notice towards the religion, and people would, you know, understand our beliefs, understand our messages and our values. And sometimes in common days, then and now, it's misconstrued as violent and not peaceful, and, you know, people just, you know, trying to cause terror. But, you know, all we strive for is peace and understanding. And at an early time there, during all that scandals, you know, because then the civil rights movement, such racism and segregation, he was dealing with that, and he was being a famous boxer, and he was Muslim. So he had a lot of things that were working against him, and he was outspoken, and, you know, he refused to serve. You know, he wanted to continue on with his philanthropy and continue on being a dominant boxer. And I mean, his skill is second to none. The goal of boxing is not to get hit. He barely, you know, ever got touched. He was such a powerful puncher, and he was a heavyweight. You know, a lot of the popular guys we see nowadays, they're featherweight, lightweight, you know, other than Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, you know, none of these guys can compare with Muhammad Ali, who influenced. He was the most charismatic, yeah. None of them could compete with him. Only Mike Tyson, per se. So, you know, I say Muhammad Ali, he influences me because he allows people like Octavio and myself to go out and, you know, talk about our religion, be Muslim, practice Islam, and be prideful and confident in it, you know, and also just, you know, just stood for black people, being proud to be black and being proud to be outspoken. So
he was actually an activist too. Like,
yeah.
The fact that he didn't want to go fight a war in Vietnam, like, because why would I go kill people over there? He said,
yeah,
you know, if we got problems here in America,
yeah,
you know. So, and yeah, he was like very charismatic,
yeah,
you know, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, very poetic, you know, I'm a poet, so that's another thing that I admire about him. And he was really close to Malcolm X.
Exactly.
I think maybe that's who influenced him to convert to Islam.
Right.
Well, they were Nation of Islam. Which is a little different.
Yeah.
But
a little different.
You know, they do believe in Allah.
Exactly.
You know, and some of the practices are different.
Yeah. Yeah. So, once again, you know, rest in peace, rest in power to Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. And because this is Black History Month, we want to continue on and talk about, you know, some misconceptions within Black history and Black culture, you know, that we see and know of within our cultures and what we've studied. So in my culture, I'm a Nigerian American. And like I said, I'm also Muslim. And what I've noticed from my culture, you know, Nigerian African culture, even in Black culture, there's often kind of intercultural prejudice against skin in relation to skin tone. As you see me, I'm a dark brown individual. So, you know, a lot of time in Africa and even in America, a lot of people may refer to me as dark black. They'll just kind of, you know, they may say judgmental things towards my skin color because of the shade of skin that I am. And then also somebody that's lighter than me, because, you know, Black people and all people, for example, they can be be very light, they could be very dark. There are some black people that are the same complexion as Octavio, and then there are some Hispanic and Latin people that are as dark as me. So just with that, there's often people that are judgmental and prejudiced towards people because of lighter or darker skin. So I would just advise that we should be cognizant of this, know that it's not right, because people in different cultures can be any skin complexion. Love people for who they are and allow people to be comfortable in their skin, and don't pass judgment before you get to know somebody. So I'd say that's a misconception in my culture and us as blacks that we need to stop. It doesn't matter if you're light skinned, dark skinned, whatever. Let's just show everybody love. It doesn't have to be a compare and contrast.
So that colorism, was it like in the culture? Like
I would say it's interculture. I would say black community. We could say colorism. I mean, you could say that.
It happens in the Mexican or in the Latino culture too, where you got the white, the one, and then you got the ones that are darker. Yeah. And then the darker people, like I'm, and during the summer I'm really dark. It's winter, so I'm a little lighter.
Yeah.
But there's we're considered more like Indians or indigenous, and they're considered more like Europeans. So like there's like that. Oh, we're better than the dark people.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in the Latino culture as well. Which
right.
It's not right. I mean, but yeah, like a misconception that I want to bring up. You mentioned yours about. I want to mention about like our history, which is we were taught in school that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Right.
But I am reading a book. I got a book that I highly recommend. It's called "They Came Before Columbus."
Right.
And it's an amazing book, and it teaches a lot about African history.
Right.
How there are voyages from West Africa, where there's a stream that brings like that a strong stream that goes in the Atlantic that pushes. If the ship gets caught in that stream, it would take you all the way to America.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, it was by accident, but after discovering that, there was a lot of intentional voyages from Africa to America. And in the book, this happened way before Columbus. So no, Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. There were Africans already. And in Mexico, they have this big heads statues that have African features because of the face of an African man, and it makes you think that maybe Mesoamericans, which is in Mexico, the natives, they didn't really see Africans as someone that was below or above.
Right.
They someone that they respected, that they traded with.
Yeah.
All the hate, all the they're savages, and they're not as at our level. When from Europe, when Columbus, after Columbus, that's where the hate, they started bringing the hate of like, oh, we're Africans, they're like, they're not at our level, we're better than them and all that.
Yeah, because they're colonizing them.
Yeah, so it's a huge misconception, like, and the hate is mainly between from European descent. Prior to that, it was a lot of like mutual respect. Yeah. So life could have been way different.
Way different.
It wasn't, for the imperialism of the Europeans. Yep. But yeah, and there's a person that he was an emperor from Mali. The Mali Empire was one of the strongest.
And Mali's in Africa, for those that don't know.
Yeah, and it was Emperor Abubakari II, who he only reigned for like 2 years. There's another person I want to bring up that from history, Black history, because his story I'm learning about him from the book. He was intrigued by this America. Like he heard stories of like, this was way before Columbus, that there was another land, another continent, and he wanted to be the one to conquer that, because he already conquered all of West Africa, all the way to the Sahara, to the desert, and all the way to the jungle. Yeah. So he's like, next is like across the sea, and he sent like 200 ships at one time, and hoping for them to return with something, but they never returned. So he decided to do it again, but this time he went, and that was the last time they heard of him. So, and then after that was another emperor, and he was a relative of Mansa Musa, who is the richest man in history.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Man, so
that's dope. That's
a
dope.
misconception about
Yeah.
America. It was discovered by Columbus,
Yeah.
which is a huge misconception.
Yeah, definitely. So we also want to honor some current people, some people that are currently living and doing some great things for American culture. We want to touch on my person that I would say LeBron James. He's a famous basketball player, but over the years his career has progressed. He's turned into a real philanthropist. He's very outspoken on public issues. You know, he, as everybody else, he's not always right with some of the things that he states, but he's outspoken and he empowers the athlete for the athletes to feel like they're more than athletes, and because they have social influence, and you know they're well known and they have status and they're the most popular and some of the richest people in the world, they can speak on public issues and social matters and help people and force politicians and people that have power and are richer and have a real influence in society from an authoritative standpoint, whether it's the president or political leaders, governors, mayors, county officials, and state representatives. Allow and push those people to really, you know, make initiatives in the culture and in society that can help people. Like LeBron has been he was very outspoken with Trayvon Martin, and you know, the recent people in our community that have passed, the George Floyd. He's always very outspoken. So just want to give him his flowers and appreciation. You know, he really impacts today's culture, and he's actually within the next few days about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, another activist and philanthropy in Black culture. He's about to pass him for most points scored in NBA history. So, you know, just want to give him his appreciation and his kudos. He influences me today, and just inspires me to keep going with my brand, TB Till Infinity. You know, with Nova Lens, The Point Entertainment. You know, he shows how to build an empire and just keep a good circle of people around you. So, shout out to him.
I love the fact that he brought his friends with him. You know, and he's expanding to other areas. He got the shows coming out,
movies,
schools, and all.
Yeah.
I mean, and you mentioned giving his flowers. You know that he's still alive. I mean, I wanted to mention Kobe Bryant. I mean, he passed away recently.
Yeah.
But
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Influence in the Latino community loved him. And I mean, worldwide people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's married to a Latina.
Yep. Yeah.
He was married. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. But yeah, like his grit, his determination, his like mentality, the Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no excuses, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like even when odds were against him, like he didn't make excuses. Like when he had to play as the Splash Brothers, like when they were at their prime, and like they asked him about it, I'm like, I can't, you know. Just there's no excuses. We just gotta do our best. You know?
Right. So how do you implement Mamba mentality in your day to day?
Man, I need to implement it more, because you know, like it's if you live in that mentality, then I mean, you wouldn't be complaining about anything. You wouldn't be like you would be reaching your goals, because he was all about like, I'm gonna make 1,000 shots in practice, like, and I'm not gonna cut corners. So sometimes we cut corners, you know. There's no cutting corners.
That's true. So when sometime that you used a little bit of Mamba mentality, I mean, we all had some time where we pushed through, we worked hard, we were determined. You know, even a small accomplishment.
I mean, his Mamba mentality is similar to what Michael Jordan, in a way.
Right.
Michael Jordan's mentality. So I watched The Last Dance, and I learned that he's a trash talker. You know, they're both of them.
Right.
I play soccer, so when I'm in the soccer field, like I try to get in people's head. You know, I try to like make sure that, you know, that they see me and they know that I'm there.
So you're trying to win possession. You're trying to make your presence felt on the field.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's dope.
Leadership too, being a leader in the court, being a leader in the field.
Yeah.
I don't know about, you know, Mamba mentality. Is that something that you say that, you know, you borrow from, or you something?
Oh no, 100%. I mean, you know, Kobe Bryant, you know, Michael Jordan, but I mean, Kobe Bryant and LeBron were more so the guys that I look to. You know, they're just their work ethic. You know, Kobe Bryant talks about how, you know, just the repetition. And one thing that I like about Kobe Bryant with his Mamba mentality that he said that I can be tired and still dominate the game. you know, as long as I get some sleep, I can still know how to dominate the game. And he said he was able to defeat a lot of people mentally because he was just way more well conditioned than them. He said so in the fourth quarter when people would start to get tired, that's when he could flip a switch. So me, I just try to condition, other than working out and staying active, I don't really do a lot of physicality nowadays, but in my brand with TB Till Infinity and, just networking, I try to have that mindset, like just always continuing to have an open mind and have an open hand out to meeting people. And when people get tired and they don't want to talk and they don't want to network anymore and meet people, I can flip that switch, and that's what I do.
Yeah, you can apply it to like, the TB Till Infinity, where like I see you doing it, where you like, sometimes you go to a vendor event, and then the networking never stops. It's like the 1,000 shots. You gotta do the 1,000.
You gotta keep, because it only takes one. Yeah. It only takes one.
Yeah. That practice is kind of like I did this caption, success is waiting on your next move. We're always expecting success to come to us, but success always meets us halfway. But Black History Month, so let's talk about like the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, the Super Bowl right now, we live in the Philadelphia area, and the Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's two black starting quarterbacks facing off against each other for the first time ever. It's crazy. I think this is Super Bowl maybe 50. I'm not sure what Super Bowl it is. I think it's either 53 or 55, something like that. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but that's crazy that it went 55, 53, whatever Super Bowls before we saw two black quarterbacks against each other. That's crazy, but it just shows how far we've come as a people. And I feel like it's going to start happening a lot more because there were, I believe, either 11 or 18 starting black quarterbacks that started this year in the league. I'm sorry if my numbers are wrong again. But yeah, so it's a lot. Lamar Jackson, yeah. So, we're looking forward to that. Go Eagles. We'll see what they can do, Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Not going to be easy, man. Patrick Mahomes, that boy's good. That boy's good.
Eagles are like, no one expected them to be this solid.
Yeah, that's true.
Turnaround.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, but appreciate you all, man, tapping in with us today. Happy Black History Month. Let's be open-minded, open our hand to our neighbors and our people and our friends. Look at me and Octavio's relationship. It's a testament to that. So Ak and AJ coming to y'all with more content. Stay tuned. We still filming Till Infinity the movie, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, till next one. Thank you for tuning in.